Hey everybody, Roland Smith here with Mountain Bushcrafters Alliance. Today I'll be doing a small video on hammocks. Some of the things that you can take with you to make your stay out in nature more enjoyable by sleeping in a hammock. Now I know there's people that say, anybody knows how to sleep in a hammock. I've got this and I've got that. There's people out there that just don't know. And they don't understand the concept of having a good night's rest in a hammock. And there's people out there that also say, well, you can't have a bad night in a hammock. Well, I beg to differ. I've had several bad nights in a hammock due to my hammock not being level, due to convection, air travel under and over. By the temperature dropping down to 50 or 55, and you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're about throws out and can't get comfortable. Body position, placement of your hammock. So stay with me. We'll go out here on the back deck. We'll get this hammock set up and we'll do a little talking. Catch you in a bit. So what we're looking at here, I've got a secured pole 4x4. I've got it braced under the deck and I got it braced up here. That way it's literally nearly impossible to break loose. And I've got an anchor point right here. Right here. So, well, the first thing I want to do is run my ridge line. That's the very first thing. It's just an old piece of paracord, nothing fancy. Just an old junk piece of paracord that I've had for months and months and months. I just used this just the other day. Some of my stuff's kind of bum puzzled. Don't have to be nothing special. Untwangle your ridge line. When you put it up, roll it up right, baby. Now, your ridge line, make sure you got good and tight right here, because you're going to put some pressure on this thing. You don't want your ridge line to sag down on your, just a simple loop trucker's hitch. I got a loop in this so I can cinch it tight, pull it back up on itself. Just like so. Run it around a time or two, loop it back up on itself, leave a loop in it. That's not going to hurt a thing right there. That's good and secure right there, just enough for a ridge line to hang stuff on, to hang your tarp on. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my straps out. I don't know if you can see me or not. The sun's blaring right down on this place. Man, it's like the equator right here. I've got grand trunk. You may have tree huggers. You may have whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as you've got a good, secure way of attaching, a safe way of attaching your hammock to a tree. And I have the grand trunk, so it's all good. It's all good, buddy. All good. You just want to make sure everything's good and secure. And as you get your straps out, let me show you something. See what we got right here. Yeah, that's perfecto. Yeah, perfect. Check the binding, the webbing, frays, the knots, any damage whatsoever, threading, any damage whatsoever. You will get hurt. Let me tell you something about falling out of a hammock. I've done it a time or two. And just that little thump You think, oh, it's no big deal. You may have hiked in 3 or 4 miles. You may have hiked in 15 miles. That little thump on down the trails you're coming out can be a bigger issue. You could have bruised a bone. You could have chipped a bone. You could have broke a bone. Anything that you do, whether it's a briar scratch, a limb poke, it's magnified in nature. It's just the way it is. Now, run it up. Now where these have the tree huggers on them, I got the double nest. For the simple fact is, I'm a fat boy. I'm a big fella. I lost 65 pounds a few years back, had knee surgery. Put a lot of that weight back on me. A double nest, you can cocoon in it. Makes an awesome, comfortable night's sleep. A single, just for me, is just not big enough. It does not cut the mustard. I've tried them. I've tried the single nest and no. You can tie you a few extra knots in this right here. And here's what you're looking for. Check the seams. Inspect the seams. Inspect the webbing, the stitching, your carabiners. Inspect everything. These are max 400-pound carabiners. Inspect everything. Before you get in your hammock, apply weight to that hammock. Now if you've got to have an extra knot, which I do, what I want to do, that's the good thing about these. You can add as many knots as you need and it doesn't hinder you none whatsoever. But you want them spaced out. Notice how they're spaced out now. Scoop that knot up. Didn't hurt a thing by adding a knot to that. It'll slide right through them huggers. If you want up higher, if you want to make it level, if you want to drop it down low, now rule of thumb, bee trying to eat me up here. Get out of here. Rule of thumb, you want this thing right at about knee high. Okay, now watch this. Spread this thing open and sit down. Real gentle. Real gentle. Don't just jump up in there. Don't just flop up in there. And like I said, if it's when you sit down in it, it should match your knee length. It should. Now I could probably raise it up just a little bit, but I'm going to leave it right there for the sole purpose of this demonstration. Now, go to Walmart. You can go to these big camping stores and get the big folding. I don't know if you can see me or not. Get the big folding sleep pads. That's fine and dandy if that's what you want to do. But if you're running on a budget, go get you a $5 sleep pad. Make sure it's the rigid exercise pad. That's what it is, exercise pad. Make sure it's rigid, not rubber. Because if it's rubber, if it's soft, it's just going to wad up under you. Now, I'll drop this camera on down just a little bit and kind of let you get a view of the hammock itself. What this does, if you'll notice, let's see if I can get a better shot of this without dropping the camera too bad. If you'll notice, that makes everything nice and rigid. Let me drop this camera down just a stage or two and try to keep everything in perspective here. There we go. Now, you can wear a schmog, you can wear a blow-up pillow. That's fine and dandy. I mean, use a blow-up pillow in your pack. That's fine and dandy. This thing here, just a couch pillow, ultralight, soft. That's what I've always used. Now, when we talk about confection, air, if you've got a breeze, and it is 50 to 55 degrees, and you got a breeze, that air coming over top of you, and that air coming underneath you, that's what causes the cold butt syndrome. You wake up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're numb. You can go buy an underquilt, maybe 150 bucks, 200 bucks, depending on the model, the name brand on it. That's all fine and dandy. Are you willing to pack a 8-pound underquilt or a 4-pound underquilt or whatever it may weigh up in the mountains on a hike? I'm not. So here's a solution. This is an idea from a good friend of mine. Go check his page out. I believe it's Man's Bushcraft, Jason Mans. He got me this probably about 3 years ago. It's a ductwork insulation. It's a bubble wrap with mylar attached to it, shrunk to it. And I have used this for 3 years. This will cause you to sleep under a sheet. Your body heat reflecting off this, it keeps the air from getting to your backside, from traveling underneath you. This works. Go to your local hardware store or your local refrigeration installation outlet, Lowe's, and get you a piece of this. Ultralight, weighs nothing. I mean, it don't even weigh, I'd say it don't even weigh 5 ounces. But it's bubble wrap with mylar attached to it, shrunk to it, heat shrunk to it. And you can't tear it. I mean, I've had this for 3 years, and it works. I'm not going to use it today, but I'm going to show you how to install it up on the some people put this down first, some people don't. There it is. There it is. Now, once you install your tarp, which I've got another tarp here, but once you install your tarp, your shade, because in the summertime like today, I'd have that tarp up and I'd be in the shade. See what I'm saying? I hope you can hear me. But once you install your tarp overhead, you've got instant shade. You've got instant weather protection. But now, here's an item that you should most definitely have in your pack. Washers are in there. Ooh, right here. I call them break and shake. glow lights. They're like $1 a piece at Walmart. You can get the I think it's a 6-inch. You can get the 12-inch for like $2 a piece. And this one here is supposed to burn 12 hours. That's 12 hours. Break it, shake it, hang it on your ridge line. Hang it on your ridge line, hang it in your campsite. You've got an ambient glow all night long. You got your fire going. If you're in bear country, you'll be able to see. And which me, I sleep with my 40 or my 380, and I've got my bear spray handy. But nevertheless, this is how I set up my hammock camp. Like I said, you can go buy the big expensive pads. That's all fine and dandy. This $5 pad does the same thing. Does the same exact thing. Sit down nice and easy. Put your feet over. And go at it. You may have some tightening up on your cables. That's fine. This is nice. But I've done this hammock camp for years, and it works. Now you can roll this up into this. When you're done, and you're good to go. I mean, that don't even weigh a pound. That don't even weigh a pound. That stops convection, air travel to get to you. That makes your hammock rigid, easy in, easy out. I fell out of these before. I've been dumped out of them, and it's not a good feeling. I've had friends that's been camping with me that's been dumped out of them. Just go to sit down, just flop down, and get dumped out. Always check your knots before you head out. Always check your, like I said, your threading, your binding, your carabiners. Check everything before you head out. You don't want to get on the trail and say, I sleep on the ground, my hammock's busted, or my hammock's unthreading here. And if you've got some stuff that's tore or unthreading, this is supposed to be ripstop material. But still yet, if I'm looking at this and that threading's frayed, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm rolling around, kicking around in the hammock, rip, thump, hit the ground. This is my setup. I hang my glow sticks, my shoes, everything off either the hammock straps or the ridge line. I keep up everything up off the ground. Everything up off the ground. Just good common sense, a little bit of common sense, and a little bit of preventative maintenance, and you can have an awesome night out in the mountains in your hammock. A little bit of paracord, some mylar. We went to Red River Gorge about, I guess it's been about 3 weeks now, 2 weeks, and we was sleeping on the cliff line, and it got cold. It got cold. Temperature was calling for 55, and we both woke up. We were both cold. Me and my buddy, my cousin, Sonny Collins, we were both cold. We was on the edge of that cliff, and I didn't bring my mylar. I had my sleep pad, and it was under me, but that air still got to me. That's what the mylar's for. That's what that go. Like I said, go to Lowe's, Walmart, wherever, your refrigeration outlet store, and pick you up piece of duct insulation. All this is bubble wrap that's been secured by mylar. Your body heat will radiate from that. You'll sleep under a sheet, I'm telling you. Hit it 50, 45 and 50. A sheet is all you'll need. Now I've got a big Army issue sleep system rated for -50. Sometimes if I'm cruising along, if I'm going to hammock camp, I won't pack it. It's 8 pounds. I won't pack it like it is. But if I'm going to local and going to hammock camp, I take it. It's that mylar. Like an oven. It's like an oven, I'm telling you. You just have to, and that was Jason Mann's idea, Mann's bushcraft. But that's my way of hammock camping. That's how I roll. That's how I roll when I go to the settlement. Just bring necessities. A few odds and ends. Like I said, you can take a blow-up pillow, air blow-up pillow. You can use a schmog. For a pillow, if you have to have a pillow, me, I smother a little bit, so I got to have a pillow. So I always take my my little bitty pillow here. That fits right in the head compartment of my pack. Perfect. Wads up nice and light and easy. Makes life easy. But I hope some of this has helped you. You may have, oh, I've got other equipment, but I'm just talking about what I use now. See what I'm saying? People say, well, I've got this, and I've got this kind of system, and I use this, and I use a $600 North Face sleeping bag in mine, and that's fine. When I'm sleeping on that mylar and that sleep pad, I use a bed sheet. I've always used a bed sheet, and it does. That mylar will put the heat out. I'm telling you, it'll radiate your body heat right back up. I'm telling you, you just got to try it. It works. This Roll Smith Mountain Bushcrafters Alliance, I won't hold you any longer. If you get out, be safe. Keep your bear spray with you. I keep a firearm with me as well, but better to have something than have nothing at all. But go farther, stay longer. We'll catch you out in the field.